Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrot.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution
Each week we interview top artists.
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story. Boom, boom. What's up, guys? Roger had some technical difficulties, so he will be here in 2 minutes or less. So I guess I can just talk to the camera for a little bit. How's everyone doing today? Crazy week in the markets. Lot of bloodshed out there. Today is Roger's Artifacts Project drop. I'm super excited about that. The first little bit is going live, and we're gonna talk a bunch about that today. Yeah. So I hope everyone's had a good week despite the market. Saw some really cool nifty drops this week. Monster Cat looked really tight yesterday. Euphoria has a really cool drop for holders today. Pumped about that. Looks really tight. Love his art. I'm gonna try to sneak away and grab one of those at some point during this live stream. This week I've just been chilling, not working on too much art. Taking a little bit of time off to recalibrate and kind of reset where I see myself going in this space. I'm working on a few big projects right now, but trying to sparse it out. I don't feel like I'm playing catch up anymore with the market, and I think that's a good thing and a healthy thing. Trying to find a studio space around here in Seattle for like painting, because I can't really paint in this room too much. We got carpeted floors. Might want to do like a physical NFT gallery at some point someday, which would also be really cool. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Just chilling, waiting for Roger's router to reset. Drinking some tea, Earl Grey. We ran out of sugar, so I've just been using honey. I'll answer some questions if anyone wants to jump into the comments. Trying to think of what I'm looking forward to besides Roger's project. Man, I'm so hyped on Roger's project. It's such a cool thing to see a friend work so hard at something, and today we get to see like the first release of that. I've had a lot with friends and artist friends do specific drops on specific platforms for the first time, and that's always super cool to see. But Roger, as like mainly a collector in the space, coming through and bringing artists together, which from the start I always felt like collectors were the curators of the space, and so that's just what he's doing. He's curating the space in the best way he knows how, and it's so cool to see him do that. I don't know if I've seen anyone do anything quite similar. I know Loopify has done curation projects before, bringing people together. Very cool what Loopify has done as well. I'm just pumped on this though. I mean, the amount of work that's gone into it, the amount of care that's gone into it, the amount of heart and just love for the space that like seeps out of this project is so cool. So that's I think we're gonna get some more details on that once Roger's up in here. I don't know how much I can talk about it yet. But he doesn't tell me all these things. Yeah, it's just cool to see it come into place. Obviously you guys saw like the New York thing, which was really cool. I flew out there a few weeks ago to see that happen. Last minute, he hit me up at like 2 a.m. my time, said today's the day the art's going up in New York. So I hopped on a plane at 6 a.m. Didn't sleep that night, slept on the plane, went out there to New York for my first time. Curran 4D, my buddy, picked me up at the airport, dropped me off in Times Square, and I met with Roger. My first time meeting him in person. Met a lot of other cool people: Brian Brinkman, Matt Medved, Sergito. It was a crazy time. And like what an excuse to visit New York for my first time. So that was awesome. And like just seeing that like all together in person was one of the craziest I think experiences I've ever had. And it really made me like take a step back and reflect how far that I've come and that this whole space has come in this past year. Because a year ago, I don't know if I could have imagined any of this. You know, a year ago, I was on unemployment. A few months before that, doing Uber, and just feeling like really lost in my general direction in life. Roger, yeah, I'm just hyping you up. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
That was the most ill-timed router reset.
No. It's all good.
We were like jamming in the prep room, hanging out, talking over tea and coffee, and then it was like, hello? Hello? Man, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I've just been chilling this week, taking a little bit of time off art and recentering myself. And yeah, having a good time, though. I feel guilty when I don't work, though. It's like this weird balance where I'm like, I know I need to take time off, but I'm like, I should be doing shit right now.
It's a tough push and pull, like that intensity cycle that I think we all revved ourselves up for. I think everyone's going through their own when do I push and when do I take that step back to breathe? Because man, yeah, it's hard to go every day all day for too long.
Yeah, for sure. You burn yourself out that way, and ends up not being productive, you know?
Yep, exactly. But yeah, man, right now I'm in the opposite cycle.
Yeah, I know.
You're in the pullback, I'm in the push forward mode.
Yeah.
But hey, it's all good. It's all good. It feels like the right time for it, and I'm sure there will come a time down the road where I'm in the same boat as you are now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'll be in the other boat.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's the most fun thing you did in the pullback?
I've just been watching The Sopranos a lot with my girlfriend.
Had you seen it? Had you seen it before, or
I've not? No. And I love like old Italian mobster movies so much, and for some reason just never saw The Sopranos, and so I love like still in 25 years of life, there's still like whole series out there that I've never seen that can provide so much joy. So
that was me like 2-3 years ago. I was never an OG watcher of The Sopranos. My wife was, and she wanted to rewatch it, and yeah, man, went down that same rabbit hole. Yeah.
Pumped. And then what else? I mean, not too much else, honestly. I've just been like really chilling. I've been reading a book, which is good. I don't read that much anymore, especially this year, just being so busy. So it's nice. Reading seems like the ultimate pullback kind of move.
Yeah.
it's such a almost like meditation or something where you can just lay down on the couch. I always fall asleep when I'm reading, honestly. I'll get like one chapter in and take a nap.
Yeah, dude. Especially if you can take your phone and put it somewhere else, and then really focus on what you're reading. That's true. It's like instant meditation.
Yeah.
So, dude, we got a launch party coming up. Launch party at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Tonight's the night. Crazy times. 5 o'clock. Artifacts Discord. Gets things all revved up from there. And whoa, Defaced is in here. What's up, Defaced? The homies. But yeah, man.
Defaced on here sometime.
I agree. Defaced can come on now if he wants.
Jump on, dude.
This is funny, man. This is like this feels like a good moment because of how truly chaotic things are in the best of ways. Like,
oh yeah,
I know we were talking a little bit off air, but like how intense that feeling is and the logistics are and
pre-drop feeling.
Yeah, pre-drop feeling. And in this case, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, just making sure everything is right. And this is like a nice little excuse to see my friend and hang out and step away for a minute, because otherwise it's like it's go.
Yeah, it sure is. How much can you talk about tonight? I didn't want to say too much.
I can say everything, man.
Yes.
I can say Oh, Deface 10 minutes. Oh, Deface is coming on. This is amazing.
Do it.
Yeah, let us know, man, and we'll send you a link whenever you're ready. Or actually, we'll send him a link now, and then he can come on whenever he wants.
Put on whenever you want, buddy.
I feel like it's appropriate. Defaced. I think the spoiler's out. Defaced in the Artifacts project, just not right now. In the future.
Yeah. Your wave.
But dude, I can talk about anything you want. Hit me with your best shot. What do you want to know? I will tell you everything. All the secrets.
All right. What is happening tonight? What do we have to look forward to?
All right, cool. So 5:00 p.m. Discord launch party. In that Discord launch party. So one person who comes to the launch party, we did 10 giveaways. Let's start there. We did 10 giveaways.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, there's 10 artists in the first wave of the Artifacts project. And what we decided to do is reserve one edition of each of the sculptures. And we've been doing that. So there was like giveaways attached to the scavenger hunt in New York City. There was giveaways attached to like the Discord invite when we first got that up and running. There are, by the way, hey, everybody, right now, there's 45 minutes left. There are Snapchat filters out for Bill Ellis's sculpture and Too Much Lag sculpture. And you can fire it up on your phone and you take a picture or a video and essentially post it. So there's 2 editions there, 1 per. We'll pick our favorite and roll forward. And then we have a last giveaway that literally will go to someone random that comes to the launch party tonight.
How do I find that Snapchat filter?
So you go to Twitter, the Artifacts_project.
Yep.
And then boom. Actually, you know what? I could probably do one better for anyone in here. I can probably link that up.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Let's do it that way. Go a little bit back in time here, grab these links. Man, we've been getting some really good posts in on this front. All right, so posting to all. Here comes the lag link.
Sick.
Boom.
I'm about to do it, and it's going to be right in between us right now. Can I enter these competitions? Is that
absolutely, dude? Enter the competitions, man. This is for everybody.
Nice.
So that's the lag link, and then this is the Bill Ellis link. Should be coming through now. Cool. And yeah, basically you take, you fire that filter up and you have the sculpture. This is the beautiful thing about the sculptures. This is why we're so excited. It's like these sculptures can do so much. Jay Pierce art installed Snap just to see it. Love it, man. Let's do this.
I'm gonna have to reinstall Snap.
I had to do the same thing too. Now I have a funny story actually, and some shout outs to give. So you know how in New York we had some art that was flagged by the powers that be associated with Times Square?
I do.
Well, for whatever reason, our boy Jason Abair got flagged on Snapchat.
No.
Like, what?
Dude, his art is 1, so sick. 2, not that crazy in forms of like.
I agree. I agree. That blew my mind. And so I want to give an appropriate shout out. There was a logo contest winner, Dr. Helen, AR Stories on Twitter, had an amazing augmented reality logo that won, was one of the 5 winners in that competition. I contacted her and she put together an Adobe Jason Abair filter.
Wow.
And sent that over to Jason, and we all feel so much better now that there's a real filter that's not flagged with him.
I think that it's got to make his art worth a little bit more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like all the books that get burned, people want to read.
Yeah,
same concept.
Jason Abair, too hot to handle.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, all right. So that so we got this filter competition. So everybody out there, I just posted both links. There's the Bill Ellis one. There's a Too Much Lag one. Fire it up. Take a crazy picture. Take a crazy video. Parrot, I love what you're thinking with us on Origin Stories. That's pretty amazing. Tag it up. So hashtag Bill Ellis Artifacts for Bill Ellis and hashtag Too Much Lag Artifacts for Too Much Lag. You can tag the artist too, of course. Fire that into Twitter, and guess what? You're entered. And so we'll have a winner for Bill Ellis. We'll have a winner for Too Much Lag, and that'll be something. Launch party at 5. Someone in there randomly will win as well. And then, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Bill Ellis and Too Much Lag go live.
That's so sick.
So we have so there's a 1-of-1 piece for each of them. It's a 1-of-1 auction piece. It's a reserve price auction. So this is not like we're not condensing it. We're not going hype cycle. We have a clear reserve on each. Actually, they both have the same reserve, so it's a 90th reserve for each of them. If that reserve gets hit, then the countdown clock kicks on. But we're kind of doing a foundation style on our website, which fits with the ethos of the project. We're not here for the sort of short term. We're here for the long haul and for those who really respect and love the artwork.
Yeah, of course. Can you talk a little bit about the sculptures in Dirk at Work? Because that's one of my favorite parts of the whole project. I remember when you showed this project to me months ago now, and you were like, this is the guy who's doing the sculptures. And I checked out his website and I was like blown away by his quality of work. Can you tell me a little bit about like how that came together, how you started working with Dirk at Work, and then like, just the whole story of these sculptures? So cool.
For sure. So the sculptures were, all right, so let me take you all the way back. I first, when I was getting into the space, early on, I found Dirk at Work and then like Metageist and the whole kind of like VR, 3D, like AR style where like they do that amazing work in like game engines and world building and character construction. And I was so blown away by those guys. And I remembered Dirk had the series of bulls and the series of Vitalics that he had done different texturing over. And it always stuck in my mind. So I kind of, as I was exploring the space and looking around, I always backlogged that. And then as the idea was starting to come together, I had seen a shaman. He also has a shaman series on Super Rare. And I had seen a shaman, he put it sort of outside of his window. He lives in like a tropical setting, right? And so you see the shaman hovering over this beautiful scenery. And I thought that's incredible. And then the more I started to think about where the whole space is going and a piece of where the whole space is going, I thought to myself, like, art is always valuable. That's my big thing. Like art has always been valuable. Art will always continue to be valuable. And like digital art is a brand new, like decades old, exploding realm of art. And like there's clear value there. And the NFT allows you to do other things too. And that's like the utility component. It's like, what else can you do? How can you display it? And so then I started thinking and the seeds came together, the connection was made. And it was like, I got to reach out to Dirk, because how amazing would it be if we could honor an artist who is insanely creative and produces brilliant art, and then take that art and make it timeless, like make it travel, make it go places, have a great smart contract that lasts. And it was like, so you have like the fine art, and then you have, how does it travel? How does it become historical? How does it become that time capsule? Right. That's the roots of the sculpture idea. So reached out to Dirk. At first, we actually just did an origin story. At first, he was like, yeah, I'm kind of busy, we're talking. He's like, I can help you iterate the idea, and I can help give you pointers and sort of he'd tell you what to watch out for and what to focus on.
Sure.
And it was like, okay, cool. Let's extend that dialogue. And then like 2 or 3 conversations in, he came back and he was like, all right, I'm going to do it. Because he said it kind of got stuck in his head, and then he liked the idea and he kept sitting with it and sleeping on it. And then here we are. And then fast forward and decided to do the thing. Awesome. But Dirk, I mean, he's just supremely talented in that space. To hear him describe it, it's a sweet spot. It's like he makes optimized models. He makes lighter models that are optimized to do a lot of different things.
Right.
And again, as he describes it, it's a space that not many people right now occupy. But he's very open in saying he believes more people should consider it because of the flexibility and all of the use cases that exist there. So I don't know if you saw Parrot, but did a thread this past week for the project. And within that thread, Dirk just like took some of the sculptures and put them in a game engine. And it's like this monstrous Blake Catherine.
Oh, I did see that. Yep.
Yeah, it's just so fun.
Flag up there floating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and there's more too. I just took 2 clips, but he did a whole thing. So there's even more there that we could share. Wow. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, no, all that stuff is like magic to me, honestly. Like even as a 3D artist, I'm like, that's just like a whole nother level of practice. It's like practical because you can use it, and like it's so cool.
So man, that's the story. That's where it came from. And then the other thing that came out today, a little bit louder and prouder. I've written it before, but I think it kind of got passed over. But want to be clear too that
Defaced is here.
Oh, what's going on, Defaced?
What's up?
Yo,
What's up?
welcome.
Just technical difficulties. Give me 10 seconds.
It's all good. Here, I'll say my piece because actually Defaced commented about this too. So maybe we can talk about these guys a little bit. Parrot, you know me, man, and you know I believe in health. Like I believe in market health, and I believe in considering the long term, right? Not looking at it as a short term, like the typical like a celebrity coming in, cash grabbing, and then going out. So with a long term, Manifold, I want to give a shout out to Manifold and Richard and Wilkins behind that brand, and they're just rock stars on the pricing side. They use real numbers, real data. They look at primary and secondary markets, look at what's going on right here, right now. And then there is, things are priced to collect. Things are priced, fair with a slight discount with that longevity in mind. I think it's really, really important. I think what they're doing is really important. They've been nothing but a joy to talk to over the early stages of this project. And they've been a big help in terms of breaking reality down. And, again, we want the sculptures to be collected, to be enjoyed, to be taken places and done things with, and the creativity to be allowed to percolate. So that aspect was really, really important.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's not just like random numbers that you're like, I guess this makes sense. So I guess this makes sense. It's math, right?
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is like, where are we now, right? It's not like where were we 3 months ago. It's like, where are we right now? Like, what are we doing? Like, let's look around and things rise and things fall and things are in between. I think everyone in this room can agree, like we believe in the long term, but let's also be real about what this moment represents, and let's react to this moment appropriately, and let's welcome people in this moment appropriately. So it's been a really, really special thing working with those guys, and we believe in it. They use I love it. Their quote is "show your work." Show your work. They use a show your work model, and so there's always something to stand behind.
I hated when teachers made me do that at school.
That's why Manifold exists, right?
Yeah.
But each sculpture. So just the down low on that. The sculptures, there are overall 100 editions, but 67 go to the primary market. And each sculpture, in this case, and again, it's unique per artist. Some artists are priced the same, some artists are priced differently, but it just goes back to the Manifold show your work model. Bill Ellis and Too Much Lag, quarter ETH. So they're each sculpture is a quarter ETH, and that's how we're rolling.
And it's editions out of 100.
That's right.
Perfect.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool, man.
And that's the down low on the sculptures.
Right on.
Deface, what's up with you, man?
Woo! Yeah, good, man. I just listening to you guys. It's brilliant. I'm like, feels like breaking the fourth wall. I'm like, fucking. I haven't even spoken to Parrot yet. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, what's up, dude?
Oh, no way! This is the first connect.
No, I haven't spoken to him. No, yeah. I DM'd him. Oh, I love your work. But no, I haven't spoken to him. So yeah, it's cool as fuck, man. Yeah, how you getting on? Are you stressed, Roger? You're all right.
I mean,
stressing out?
All of it. I'm stressed. I'm not. I'm excited. I'm anxious. It's all a mix. But I think back to you guys, like Deface. I think back to when I remember when you did your Rareable, like that sequence of like it was the 1 of 1, 1 of 3, 1 of 5. I remember that. Like I think back because I'm talking to you guys and like Parrot. I think about your nifty drops, and I just think, man, all the feels you must have been going through. I just have fresher and fresher respect for the level of emotion. Yeah,
it's definitely something. You do shit yourself. To be honest with you, you do shit yourself, and you don't know. It's like going on stage and you're seeing like Britain's Got Talent or The Voice, and you've just got to stand there and sing your song, and you're like, I don't know how anyone's going to receive this. You have like the judges as collectors. You're like, just fuck it. You just belt it out and see what happens. But
Yeah.
that's all you can do. You've put together something that made a movement in the scene. You got a bunch of artists who are fucking genuine people. It's just genuine through and through. New York, that was fucking insane. Like everyone, even my mates were like, I got this printed. Some of my friends for my 21st, and they got one of the pictures.
No way.
So yeah, I got my little character
cool.
done. And,
Man, I love that. I love that.
But yeah, but just like the ripples that add into my life and like my parents being proud and showing off the images and stuff, it's just fucking, it's more than I think you would know how it's affect, well, me at least, and I'm sure like Parrot as well and a bunch of artists. It's a bucket list thing for sure. Like, yeah, it's insane, man.
Yeah. It's super insane.
I love to hear that. I love to hear it. And you know, it's kind of like this. It is like this. No matter what happens, we're here, you know, like we're here. This concept, when we look across the board at what the concept is, what's being created, the quality of people involved in the project. And that goes from all the artists to the internal team to across the board. It just becomes this incredible conviction in the long term, in terms of where the space goes, where the project goes, where it all ends up. It just becomes no doubt. Like you can get all trapped in the short term. It's like, what's going to happen tonight?
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff. But then if you pull back and you like expand the vision and you look into that deep future, it feels really special, and the conviction level just goes through the roof.
Yeah, I think that's been the big trick of the last few months, is that just short-term fucking busting your balls and not looking at the long term, which is really difficult, especially in what we've had over the past few months to endure. It's been so fucking intense, and because I think a lot of the pressure is not knowing how long it's going to last, so you want to make the most of it and do as much as you can, and especially if you're an artist and you're fucking, a lot of us don't have a lot of money, or like to come from not having a lot of money, so you're like, I've just got to squeeze this as much as I can. But when that tension's been relieved, it's like, okay, we can breathe and build, and it sort of clears the air a bit and the mist, and it's it'll be an interesting time moving forward. I think people are going to calm down a bit and generate better work, and I think this project's going to be the start of it.
Thank you, man. Saying the same stuff I was on Blockchain Radio today. A shout out to the host Pierre over there. But we were talking about the space as a whole, and we were talking about that of just things calming down. It's a productive thing, because I think if you see the headlines spin the wrong way, like Business Insider was the popular headline this past week.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You know, it's like you see the headlines spin the wrong way, and it's like, all right. Okay, we get it. Like, we get the news engine and the news machine and like how they do their things. But you step back and you say to yourself, it's like, nothing can go up only forever. It's a good thing. Like, it's a good thing when things settle back down. It may not feel good. It may feel downright horrible in certain instances. But people get to be more discerning now. And I think like everyone gets to, like you said, Face, it's like everyone gets to step back. Parrot, like you're doing now, everyone gets to step back. Everyone gets to breathe, and then everyone gets to build anew. And I think the people that come forward, the projects that come forward, the platforms that come forward in this new phase, on this new stage, they're going to really matter. They're going to really matter, because it's quality. But it's going to be the people who want to be here, who are passionate about it, who see that long term, who are like, yeah, hell yes, I'm in this space for the long haul. Let's go. Yeah. And then really special things happen that way.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's there's a certain amount of authenticity and that can't be there when there's so much FOMO and hype. Mm-hmm. because you know, there for a month or two you could come into space with a half-assed project and make a shit ton of money, and do that multiple times.
Yep,
we saw a lot of that. and you know, that just can't last forever, no matter what. And so now that that's simmering down a little bit, we have the people who were either A, here before all of that, continuing to be here, B, the people who came in during that and then found the community and stuck with it. And those are the people that like now get to put their head down. And I feel like this is where like the Googles and the Amazons and the YouTubes come out of this. You know, it's not just the .com bubble anymore of random flashes in the pan. It's like that slow simmer of authenticity.
I agree. Well said, then.
Yeah, I think as well. I had an interview earlier, and we are talking about NFTs, and I think as well, like for an artist like me, I've now got, after all that shit, I've now got a little pool of money I can invest into the next big thing, where I can hire people, I can afford to take risks, so I can afford to put money into projects I wasn't able to before to make something bigger. Like I didn't have access to like the better PC or these guys to work on this and sort of build out my vision. So it's a blessing as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it pan out. But as well, with COVID lifted, people getting vaccinated and the move to the physical realm and the events that are going to be held fucking next year and the exhibitions and galleries. And I saw something in Canada with Euphoria, I think, and all that shit going on. So you can just see like it's sort of, you can sort of see it panning out and building into the real world a bit more, and how that's going to carry on and have a stronger foundation. I think when it did before, it felt like it was on sand a little bit, and now I think we're building on concrete.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can't tell you how crazy it was to like meet Roger in New York as like a real person, and everyone else we met in New York, where I'm like, wow, these are like real people that like, and it's cool because like, we talk so much on the internet, and then we show up in person and we just pick up where we left off from the internet. It's not like we have to learn how to become friends all over again or anything. Like, we're already friends.
No, that's a really good point. That's a really good point, because I felt the same way. I felt like we were old friends who were, hey man, like great to see you again. Great to see you again. It felt very close, and I didn't even think about it that way until you just said that. That's an amazing thing. I mean, what that to me says is that this thing's pretty damn special. Like that those special vibes that we felt. It's funny, the special vibes that kicked off this whole project idea for me in the first place. But like those special vibes matter. They're very real, and they're very tangible. Even though sometimes it's what does that mean? Like, what does community mean? It's real. It's a thing.
Yeah, I think, some people worry about the world opening back up and people forgetting about the metaverse and forgetting about digital art or whatever. I see people air their concerns on Twitter all the time. But I think, moments like that where I meet people in person, when me and Fuwo met in person, and we just hit it off right away. When we went down and saw Thank You X, and we met Ashley from Nifty Gateway. Like, these are all people that we've talked to on the internet and Clubhouse, and built like this, friendship. But then when it happens in person, like, it makes it stronger, I feel like. And now I'm just excited for the future, where like there's going to be a conference or a hangout session or something like that, where so many people from the NFT community get together and get to just like kick it in person, drink at a bar together, like do art together in person. And it's going to just, I think, strengthen all the bonds that we've already created.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be cool. I think with the people forgetting about digital art thing, I think that's just the half glass full thing, isn't it? It's like with the market, it's like anything in life, isn't it? It's like, you're always going to have people who are pessimistic and people who are optimistic and realists. And I think, I don't know, I think it's bullshit.
It's such bullshit. Like, listen, what we can't sit here and say is that all art is valuable. We can't sit here and say that. Of course not. Like that, that's not the way it works in traditional art. It's not the way it will work in digital art. But we can sit here and say is that this is what I said on frickin' Bloomberg the other day. It's like the art market is real. It's always been real. Art has been like created since forever, before forever, since we were human beings. Art has been created and revered and valued. And as soon as it was transportable and saleable and a marketplace developed, it was valuable, carried value. That value, yes, it fluctuates over time, but it's serious value and it's global. And digital art, it's the hidden value transaction and all that stuff. A lot of companies were stacked over it, kind of obscured the real value. Everyone thought it was free. Some people still think it's free. That's fake. That's not real. It is valuable. The whole world is going like a greater percentage digital, and like let's go. It's just real. Period. End of story.
I had I think it was a YouTuber, and it was a YouTuber's accountant, and he was talking about there's this YouTuber who was making videos since 2011, and I think in 2014 he made 100 grand, and he had a tax audit, and they couldn't understand how. Then, like after that, he went from 100k to 1 million. They couldn't understand why he didn't register his taxes from 2011 to 2014 because he didn't make any fucking money doing YouTube videos. So it's the same thing with ad revenue, almost like in the NFT space. It's like you're now getting paid for the stuff you've done out of passion and just stuff you enjoyed. Same with YouTube. So we're seeing that now play out in another digital space. And look how people didn't think YouTube would like YouTubers. It's not a viable career. Now they're like some of the biggest earners in the digital realm, influencers and all that sort of shit. Like Instagram was originally for fucking photographers, and when people started posting pictures of themselves and their work on there, everyone's like, "What's this?" But then it evolves, and then people get paid. So it's yeah, I think we're just seeing it play out again, and we're on the edge of it.
Yeah. This feels better though because there's no middleman. I love that.
Yeah,
definitely.
There's no corporation that's being like, all right, now you guys can get paid a little bit if you do this and conform to these algorithms and all that kind of stuff. Now the ball's in our court.
Let's talk about that for a second because I heard some. I'm not going to say a name and I'm not going to say what they were referring to because I don't know if they want to say. I don't know if they want it out there, but man, we all got to be a bit careful because there's an unnamed platform, call it whatever. It's like the deal sucked. Like I heard the deal, it was passed along. The secondary sale royalties were preposterous. They were super low. They were time constrained. And I'm like, what? That's a thing? I haven't
heard about this.
So again, I don't like, I don't want to say the specifics. Yeah, I know. No, it's kind of bullshit. Like I get it. People are like, why don't you just say it? It's because I don't know if the person wants it to be said. Yeah. And so it's real. It's a thing. It exists. I'll get the information, and if they're comfortable, I'll release it at some point. Sure. But the PSA, the public service announcement, is this: watch out. Like, be careful. I don't think there's any reason to back off of whether it's 10% secondary royalties, whether it's 7.5%, whether it's 12.5%, like whatever. It just needs to be significant.
Yeah.
But like 2-3%, like that's not a thing. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's not why this whole thing is happening. And I think we need to be pretty discerning about, again, how this is all walked forward.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, there's a lot of OGs that pushed really, really hard, you know, Colby, X-Copy, et cetera, who pushed really, really hard to get that 10% standard in before, you know, this was a crazy giant movement like it is now. And I think taking deals that go like significantly less than that are kind of a slap in the face to the work that they've done up to this thus far. You know, it's and I know it's hard as like an artist when you're hungry and you're coming into this space and you're seeing money and you're gonna take, you're like, whatever, 3% is better than no percent. And like,
but remember the trade because it's the Instagram trade. The Instagram trade was share your art and your pictures here for the hope of building a community.
Yeah.
Period.
Exposure. Yeah.
Exposure. If it walks too far, it ends up being a similar thing. Yeah. Where and again, it's like there are reasons, of course, there are pressures, of course. There is an attraction to reach a wider audience. I get that. That actually does carry value, right? Mm-hmm. If you calculate it appropriately, that carries value. I respect that and I get that. I would just hate to see too much get pushed down and down and down until it's like, what are we all doing here? Is this a renaissance at all?
I think it comes down to as well having good educational resources for new artists coming into the space to know that's the norm. Like anywhere else, like the music industry, you don't really have like those like good information like hub where people can go and people are educated. Like 10% is the norm. So that's just circulating and that sort of information, like how you write your threads and Loopify and how that's just like common knowledge almost. Like obviously it's 10%, like because you get someone come in, they see 3%, like you said, Parrot, and they take that. So I think it's an education issue as well with a lot of these factors and educating artists who are coming into the space and the history of it as well of Colby and all that shit. It's very valuable for people and to recognize these people in the space as well as pioneers. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we have to be careful. But you know, and I think that builds a responsibility on all of us as well to share that knowledge and preach that knowledge and push for that, because this is the first time that we've had this opportunity to like really conform this to what the artists need and what the artists want. And we're not directly working with these big corporations like Instagram and Facebook that like say it's this or nothing. You know, we actually have a say here. So I think that's where the responsibility comes in, to educate and to spread that knowledge.
Let it start right here, man. You know, that's it's just something that's important. It's important because it matters. Like a time constraint may not seem relevant, right? When you're hearing a time constraint, you get this for 2 years and then not anymore.
Sure,
you get this for 3 years and not anymore. At first, when you hear that, it's like, wow, 2 years is forever. You know, 2 years is forever.
It echoes, you know, like music labels taking advantage of artists, giving them advance, and then you know they end up broke when their album comes out. It's a predatory thing. And I think that also goes hand in hand with celebrities coming into this space and wanting to work with artists, and then artists taking 10-20% and just giving the 80% to the name.
Yeah, sure.
Of the celebrity. You know, I've been pitched some pretty bad projects where, you know, I don't know. I know Blake Catherine and Fuck Render have said 50-50 or nothing, and that's the way it should be. I agree with that. Maybe more than 50-50 if it's just a celebrity and they're not doing anything with art, you know? Once again, that's the responsibility on the artists, because it's individual decisions that make, you know, that it's like those individual decisions make up the bigger wave of the movement.
100%. I think it's that trick of leverage as well. Like before, like you'd want to collaborate with fucking Nike or whatever, and you'd want to collaborate with all these musicians and to build your name up so you can get paid more. But nowadays, people are coming in and they want you. Like you have the power to say no, and you have all the fucking leverage. And like if you say no, then they don't get an in. Do you know what I mean? Like you have the artists have so much control over these situations, and I think it's that sort of reframing in the artist's head which needs to be changed, because you automatically assume like, oh, this is going to be positive, this is positive. Like if it is like fucking whoever, Paris Hilton or whoever's offering you something, like in the real world, or the old sort of world where your commission work is normal, like that's a very good rate, like 40%, 30% for like a Paris Hilton product or something. Like you do packaging for that, that's a fucking lot of money. So I think that sort of reframing and moving this commission world into the art world is the big shift that needs to change, because you're not getting commissioned, you're collaborating. I think that's like the terminology and words we use is very important.
Yeah, and it's a fast shift too, because just a year ago it was much different. And but I think once again, like the artists in the space need to realize that the collectors 99% of the time are here for the artists themselves and give reverence to that authenticity in the space. You know, if a big celebrity comes in and works with a random artist, like most collectors are going to be like, who cares? For the most part, there's some you know exemptions from that rule. But if lesser known, you know, I think a great example of this would be 2 Feet and Felocious Nifty Gateway. 2 Feet came in just by himself on Nifty Gateway. I don't think it would have done as well. But because he worked with like an OG in the space, that gave 2 Feet the authenticity. And I also, you know, brought up Felocious as well, because Felocious is working with this platinum selling artist. But I think that's a really good example of, what's the way to say it? Like the OGs having the authenticity, the artists having the authenticity that the collectors are looking for, and use that to your advantage, artists.
Yeah, no question. And it's all like, it all becomes a slippery slope, because I also respect, like, you have the magnitudes of impact, like you have the magnitudes of celebrity, right? And so it's like, as a celebrity gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, the allure more and more and more and more becomes to take a SKU deal. And there probably is a balance somewhere in there where if you're getting like the biggest celebrity in the entire world, and maybe they are entitled to a little bit more than 50-50, even in those types of scenarios.
Sure.
But that's a slippery slope, because is it 40? Is it 20? Is it 7? Right? It's very quick that you can just say, oh, I'll accept whatever, right? Because so-and-so is so-and-so. And then all of a sudden you end up doing half of what was fair in the first place. So it's just a careful calculation, not just saying like, sure, whatever, because it's you.
Yeah, and I think as well, like as an artist, you've got to see what clicks with you and what resonates with you. Like I just done something with Pac-Man, and I thought that was a perfect match with my fucking brand.
Great, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Though, like, but having that sort of childhood thing and the colors and all that shit, like that clicks with my brand and will give me value. So I think it's in the, like if I done it with like some fucking dark goth band, like I'm not sure like people would look at that and go, "What the fuck's that?" So I think having that sort of intent, like seeing if you see if that would click and work well with your artist name and what you're passionate about. I think being passionate about something is really important as well. Like if there's a musician you love and you think they can artistically give you value as well as being artistically fulfilled as well, I think is a massive thing in this equation.
Yeah, it is. One of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten in this space was from Ryan Thank You X, where I was talking to him. A pretty prominent musician hit me up and wanted to collab, and at first I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, no way, of course. I was talking to Ryan, and he was saying, like, does this make sense a year from now? Does this make sense 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Are you going to look back and say this added value to your brand, to your artistic vision, et cetera, et cetera? And that really made me, like, stop and think about, like, the long term and about, like, you know, like Pac-Man, that makes total sense for you. But like you're saying, if it's some like random musician or something that doesn't make sense, like people will be able to look at something and make sense. I think like Catherine Paris Hilton makes sense. Those aesthetics go well together. And then I see some other projects that make less sense. and it's hard to say no to those kind of opportunities sometimes, because before this movement, that would have been, you know, the biggest project of the year for you. But now you have to think long term. It's about longevity, and it's hard for everyone. It's hard for me to think that way sometimes, because it's we live in such a society that's propped up on instant gratification and status and the ego, that it's very easy just to say yes to the first thing that comes your way if it's a big opportunity. But long term.
Yeah. That's a really interesting frame. I'm picturing in my head, I have like a cartoon TV show, and you know how you have like a guest character come in and you're like, oh, it's this guy who voices this guy, and you just have I'm just picturing like someone who'd come in and like, you're like, oh, of course he'd be on this show, and it's like having some total random guy on there, like, what the fuck, this doesn't make sense, like as a guest star. You're like, what? So I think it's almost seeing like your universe, and he would go into your universe and be like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. And when you see something out of place, it's you can see from a mile off, you're like, what the fuck is this? So I think people can tell as well. Then
people can tell sometimes before you can tell, because you're blinded by the opportunity or the excitement of it all.
All the money, yeah.
It's true. It's true. And this is the time too. I mean, I think this is the right time. It's fun. This conversation makes sense right now. And the reason is because when times are good, when times are white hot, parabolic, crazy, it's easy to the face got all blurry. He was super clear now.
I use this camera twice a month. Is this how you do it? I swear that's how you do it.
But when things are parabolic and hot, it's easy to have your sense of balance about you and be like, okay, no, this doesn't make sense for me. I'm good, no problem. But you know, when everything settles out a bit again, it's like, maybe I do want that opportunity, and then the terms that come in aren't very good, and it's like, but I still want that, and you start stretching a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I also think companies can be aware of that, and so it's a good time to have those dialogues and just to be smart about things.
Yeah, stay true to your own. Yeah, you know, there's a few week period where every day I'd be getting offers in the middle of March middle of March, beginning of March, and it's definitely slowed down now that the space is cooling off a little bit. So now for like one, I get to read the whole email each time someone emails me now, instead of just being like, nope. So I do agree with that. Like now, I just give it a little bit more thought than I would have maybe in March, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, if you know.
Yeah.
No, I've definitely been feeling that. Like I haven't took commissions in ages. Now I'm sort of eyeing stuff up because I'm spending so much money on this next project. I'm like, well, am I going to be able to pay my fucking taxes when that comes around? Like you sort of like start umming and ahhing and like saying, well, I have to take this extra job on, which I wouldn't really have had to do a month ago. And it's definitely something I reckon a lot of artists are going through. But I don't know. I suppose it's such a new sort of. I saw someone saying they have to go back to Etsy or something like that. But that's going to be it's going to be with so many artists, like getting used to being able to just live off your art. And oh shit, the sales are stopped and everything's dried up. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But I think with better quality projects and more building, and it'll come around definitely.
Yeah, I think right now quality is just going to be the most important thing. I think a lot of big collectors are bored. A lot of big collectors are, seeing the same stuff. Yeah, and people have been seeing the same stuff happen. These low effort, low quality NFT cash grabs. And a lot of collectors are coming to the realization that like not every single NFT they buy is going to have a positive return. A lot of times they're buying a depreciating asset, and so and it moves quickly too. You saw like the Ford Yacht Ape Club, and then the Meebits came out, and everyone dropped that, went to Meebits, and then the Christie's auction was over, and then the Punks dropped, and like it happened so quickly. I think that moving forward, there has to be impactful projects like Roger's project. Like you see how much care and effort goes into it, and I think collectors see that and are gonna respond accordingly. You see, like whenever Pax does a big drop, he doesn't drop just random shit all the time. He does very thoughtful. He's always been this way. I think it's just he has some foresight, or he's a team of like 10 people because he's crazy.
definitely.
But he does very specific, intentional things with his art and to push the space forward. Every time Pac does a drop, it changes the narrative of what can be done in the space. And I think when you do a project like that, that's what captures the attention. And I think moving forward, projects that don't do that are going to have a lot harder time breaking through. But I think that overall that's a good thing because it forces all of us to work harder, not be lazy, and like really dive deep into like what we can do as artists. It gives us that extra little kick.
Yeah, I was struggling with this one because I was talking about it earlier. Like I really like to explore loads of different media things and fucking everything I can. But then some people just want to do a painting. Do you know what I mean? And like how, like I think that's where like I sort of disconnect from like that. I'm really struggling with that idea. Like how would they? Has it got to be more than just a painting? Like, has it got to have more behind that, or is it just us enforcing what we want onto them? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not too sure. Like, because what Roger says, the value is always in the art. Like, that's number one. So, like, I don't know. I was struggling with that earlier.
That's a good discussion too, and I think I struggle with that myself a lot because sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and do this crazy thing. And sometimes, like, I just want to make a pretty picture.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what makes me happy at the end of the day sometimes,
I guess what I would offer from my perspective is this. I feel as though usually, not always, nothing's always, but usually I feel that I can tell, or at least have a strong intuition or a hunch that someone's doing what intuitively lights them up, doing what they have, in there, creating something that they're passionate about. And you could see that kind of how people put it forth on Twitter. And like from the written word, you could see how people discuss what they're doing. And then from the spoken word and from the video scene, like, but you can kind of get that vibe of, is this what fires you up? Or is this what you feel like you have to do? Right. So for me, it's like layer one, it starts with that understanding of self, authenticity, operating in that lane that fires you up. But then I do think there is a secondary, and I want to make it clear, I think it's a secondary consideration. And those secondary considerations are like, now where do I put it? Now what do I do with it? Right? Like I've created this thing that woke me up, it magnetized me. It was like I had to get this out, right? I had to get this out of my brain and my body. Like that's kind of how I felt about this project. It's like I have to bring this into reality. But then, well, I mean, the discussion several months ago was easy because it was like you had 5 platforms, you had 5 major platforms. 3 looked and felt kind of the same. 2 looked and felt kind of so it was very easy, like decision making. Now there's so much more, and now it's like there's even like, do I create my own thing to do, or do I go to a more wild west, like open Amazon style feel, or do I go to like the hype curation, or do I go to like the intense gallery curation, or do I go to some of the newer stuff that's coming into town? Now the decisions are more complex, but I think that's where the secondary decisions do matter. When you birth the thing, now what do you do?
Yeah, you nailed that. The whole thing is art, isn't it? I suppose the whole method of delivery, the whole way you talk to the audience, the way you use social media, the way you present, the way you build up. That's a whole experience, I suppose, for the collector. Yeah, that's something I didn't think of. I just focus directly onto the art, but the whole thing, I suppose, it's like getting a nice package through from like a luxury company, and you unbox it, and the sticker and the tissue paper and all, it's got gold trim on it. It's got a lovely fucking freebie and all this shit, and you pull it out and you're like, oh wow, that's a nice shirt. When you put it back nice, I suppose that's the sort of thing we're going to be building in space.
Absolutely, guys, we got a launch party. We got a launch party on Discord. On Artifacts Discord. Artifacts Discord. Let's transition it over.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thank you to Face for jumping in here and chatting with us. That was really fun. It was nice to talk to you in person for the first time. Yeah. Let's work on some art sometime, man. I'm a real big fan of your stuff.
Oh, I'm there for that.
Yeah. I have to come to New York next year or something, and we'll fucking do it. We'll do it live.
The Face, you could that's we'll figure out the trifecta later, but you did the origin story interview. Now you're here for the origin story live stream. I said trifecta. We'll have to come up with something. We gotta have you back. Have you back?
Artifacts.
There you go. Exactly.
Oh yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Peace out, everybody.